Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and well, kids of all ages, from whatever you are to however old you may be, I don't really know. We've got the second part of a fantastic story unveiling before your eyes. Yes, indeed, soon enough, we're going to be starting up the second night of the Nations Cup right here in Auzom. And tonight, of course, for your auditive entertainment, for your ASMR pleasures, of course, I've got Toffees with me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Excited to be here. I got sidelined yesterday due to some family commitments, but I was like, man, I got to get here to see the wrap up of the
Wait,
Nations Cup. I was blown away to watch what you guys did yesterday.
hang on a second. Isn't the PUBG family your family?
And it's
Are
all
you?
my family. It's all my family. But unfortunately, sometimes the family that I produced, organically is a little bit more important than the family that I met here. So
Love it.
you know how that goes. But it's not just me here today. We got a
Of
couple of
course.
other guys joining us, and I'm excited to work with them. We've got, I heard Mustache Dave is going to be here bringing the sauce, and Porosaurus be joining him as well to do all the analysis for today. How are you guys doing?
I don't know about Dave, but I'm doing amazingly. I'm expecting great. We come in here, we saw the U.S. just kind of underperform a little bit, so we wanted to bring a little bit of American support behind our boys. Dave, what do you think?
I mean, that's to say the least, because, finally taken off the bench, your main man, Mustache Dave, coming in hot for Team USA. Listen, we have about 3 kills yesterday, totaling 5 points. I'm not worried about it. We got Profi, we got Paradox, we got Caden. These guys are insane, and, now that they have us on their sidelines, they're going to perform out of their minds.
Well, so can we talk for a second about this sort of thing, okay? Because, first off, let's be honest with everybody who's listening. 3 of the people on the desk are from the U.S. There's going to be a little bit of us cheering and hoping they come out of, where they are right now. But that's a team who you said, they've got some really top performers, IEM players, some of the top leaderboard players right now in the form of Profi, who is some ridiculous KD ratio yesterday on the leaderboards. These guys are good, but they are underperforming. Are there any other teams you guys saw yesterday that you said, what's going on? Why aren't these guys performing at the potential we know they can?
Well, I gotta feel like Sweden also is kind of underperforming a little bit, coming in just ahead of the U.S. in 19th place. But Haxetti, Fuzzface, Sergey Molman, Hollywood Frost, these guys don't deserve to be in 19th place. So I got to imagine that maybe there, with both of these teams, it's been some early game jitters, maybe trying to take some fights that they just kind of came out on the wrong side of, maybe Circle just not favoring them so well. I don't know. I'm not sure what it could be. What do you think?
Well, that's your team, right? I'm going to be looking at number 13, Canada. I'm sorry there. I just have to throw it out there. We got Maluk, we got Jesse Law, we got Moody, and doing some research yesterday, Interrogate. I think he's playing today. He said he's going to drink a half a tub of G Fuel. So this guy's going to be running all over the map. And
I think he's mixing it with maple syrup, though, right? To really get that Canadian excitement.
No, this is from his mouth. He said, I'm drinking a half a tub of G Fuel. I heard it here first. So I'm going to be looking for him. And so we have our squads. We have our underdogs. But talk about Austria winning 2 of the 4 games yesterday. Now, that is insane. Do you guys think they can do the same today?
Well, the question isn't whether or not they can do the same, but the question is, can they play for placements? Now, we do see often, Dave, sometimes teams that actually get good placements in the first days or in the first few matches, and then rather choose to play a bit more of a passive role just to get the placements because they already have the actual score line to protect them, kind of. They don't really need to go for the extra frags. They don't really need to go for any kind of engagements. All they need to do is to make sure that they keep themselves in the top 10, top 5, preferably, of course, right? So I would see Austria do perform the same today. I don't think they're going to be the superstars that they were on the previous days. Of course, they do come out on top with 23 kills, as you do see, indeed. But that is to say that performance that was going on yesterday might not be the same thing here. Now, tell me a little bit there about Portugal, Dave. I'm sure you've seen the matches yesterday. I know you've seen the matches yesterday. These are not names that we necessarily know to be quite incredible, and these are not really big teams that we normally get to see on the orgs that we cast for or we analyze for. How do you think that they've come up to be so close behind Austria with 87 points?
Well, one of the things is they have Chronix, right? He was insane yesterday. He's sitting at number 3 on the individual kill count leaderboard, sitting at number 9 confirmed kills. Now, one of the things that's really working for our top teams that I believe is that they're all great players, but it really comes down to communication and synergy. And Portugal is just one of those squads that are just demonstrating that they have that synergy.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
So
I think
there
it
you go.
comes down to, and I think that that's something that we can even take away with Austria. They've been doing really well, and I know that a couple of you guys probably watched IEM, and a lot of people said, why isn't FaZe performing at the level that we expected them in this tournament? And one of the things that always struck me is Meter wasn't there, and I think that Austria performing this well speaks to the value of communication and leadership in a tournament like this, right? Because these players aren't always playing together. So they really do rely on somebody taking a strong leadership role, making good calls, and being able to trust that that person is a master of what they're doing. And I think that the teams we see on the top are very likely the teams that have sort of established a pecking order in terms of in-game calls and are working together in a very clean way, instead of maybe butting their heads as a bunch of superstars.
Here's a bit of an insight info onto that one, actually, Toffees. I've been talking to these lineup of Netherlands there, and I know that it was actually Ibiza that was the IGL, the official IGL for it. But they've since kind of discovered that Ibiza is more of a relaxed kind of guy. He makes the calls, but when he makes the calls, he asks the team whether or not that should happen. So it's kind of a mature environment. They do it fast, they do it efficiently, actually. But somehow that didn't seem to work fantastically. And what I do know is that all the players from the Netherlands, for example, lineup, they're pretty much superstars. They come in from really good teams. They perform really well within their teams. But into here, there just seems to be a bit of a magic missing. So, Pora, what do you think these teams that like to have things a bit more freely, do you think it would be better for these ones to have actual more stricter IGLs?
I think what they need to do is they need to focus on just small, immediate goals, like achievable goals. So when you look at all these teams, only 2 of them have made the top 10 all 4 games. And that's our first and third place teams in Austria and Switzerland. So I think what they need to do is kind of just take a step back and say, okay, well let's not think about the entirety of the game. Let's not think about winning the game as a whole. Let's just do what we need to do to get to that top 10. Whatever needs to be done. If we need to maybe not take a fight that normally we would want to take, and unless we can, and unless we're sure that we can finish it off and win it in immediate fashion and be able to get to our next spot where we want to go. But and yeah, I think a lot of that does come down to this communication. But like you said, we know that these guys are all incredible players, and they all know each other very well. They might not play with each other consistently, but they know each other well enough to be able to communicate the game to each other. So I'm not sure that the communication thing is as big of a deal now as it may used to have been. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point indeed. Now, we do see on the screen that we have some information about the stuff that's going down tonight, but we also have some information there that we would like to slowly give out about the next season. I know you guys are super hyped, super excited about what's going to be upcoming there. I'll give you a few of the general information there. Perhaps Toffees, if he's kind enough, if he's in the Christmas spirit, he'll let you know the rest of it. So what we know that it's going to be lasting between 8 and 11 weeks. So that's going to be, this information is available, is in regards to the next season, right? So it's going to be 8 to 11 weeks, one cross-region grand final on the last week, right? So cross-region, I'll let Toffees explain to you more about that.
Yeah.
One qualifier is going to be starting at the beginning of the season. You guys will know as we go forward a bit more about how that qualifier is set to be and how many teams are actually expected to go into the qualifier. So a couple of weeks after the game's release is when we're going to be starting that qualifier.
Yeah.
We need to give a couple of weeks to the teams. They have to be prepared with the new changes, the 1.0 the big 1.0 update that everybody's waiting for right now. And there you go. So next thing on the list there, well, I'll let the NA man talk to you about it.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway here between this season and next, and I'll do this real fast, we'll go over it a lot more later on. It looks like we actually have a little extra time, so that'll be fine. So the big takeaway here is that some of the changes are, we are doing a split setup on servers. Okay, so it's a EU and NA will have a separate seasons, and then they'll come together for the grand final. So that's a big change. It'll be very interesting to see how that affects the teams, but more importantly, it'll affect ping rate. We've had a lot of discussion about sort of forcing teams to play across servers that are maybe farther away. This kind of gets you closer to playing at the same level as everybody else in your group. The other big thing we talked about is, and we saw this, for instance, with the invites to Intel Extreme Masters, Evil Genius has got an invite because invite? How do we do invites? And it sort of became this big talking point. And that's what we're trying to address with this next season. It's going to be pretty cool. What we're going to do is we're going to have invitations. 12 teams per region are going to get in based on who was the grand finalists in season 1, who were the top seeded teams after season 1. Then the next 16 teams are going to be a discussion. Basically, we invited some of the top journalists, analysts, organizers, casters from all over the world to get together and cast their votes to basically find an aggregate score of what are the next 16 teams that deserve to be in the Premier League. And then after that, we'll do 12 per region through an open qualifier. So we're trying to find every avenue there is to bring the teams that deserve to be here together for an awesome season 2. And honestly, I've watched the guys here at Auzom work on that, and I'm super hyped to be a part of sort of that process of helping to fairly, I think in the best way we can, get the best teams together.
There you go. So that's the big takeaway in this kind of scenario. Of course, teams would have loved to play with one another. The only thing that you can consider not ideal in this situation is the fact that you're not going to know, NA is not going to know where EU is going to drop. And we kind of had this discussion before. We will dwell on it further on. But yeah, that's the big takeaway in this situation is that NA and you are going to be playing separately, and as much as they would hate it because they've made new friends across the pond, it's a good thing for them because it allows both of the continents to actually set themselves up properly, have proper actual time scales when they can actually play the game, perhaps after work or after school, or they have something to do in the day, so they can come up later and play their respective region at a decent enough time. So there you go. That's one of the informations some of the information that we have for you. Of course, we kind of have to tell you there that the way it's going to be working for the invitation in between, that's going to be decided after the first teams are invited, the official invitations, and after that we're going to have the open qualifier. So again, that's going to be a perfect timeline in between those the release of the game and when we actually start the qualifiers, and that's going to give the teams that will have a chance to come in some time to get themselves readied up. We're not going to be doing any kind of new maps. Don't worry about that just yet. We'll see how that one's going to be going at that point in time. But for now, we'll just split this up and go see how it'll work.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, poor Dave. I know that you guys. I think you're still here. So you guys, I know you love your keyboards. I know that do you guys customize keyboards at all, or do you just sort of stick to the stock, thing that I bought with my Dell in 1965?
Because 1965 Dell was existing.
65.
Fair enough. But if you've ever seen the old yellow keyboards, they feel like they were built in the 60s.
Yeah.
That said,
they were white at a certain point.
That's true. They were white and fireproof. That said, if you hate those kind of stock keyboards, we've got a partner here who's working with us on this tournament that actually has a solution for that. Can one of you guys talk a little bit about what they make and tell me exactly sort of how it fits into the whole layout of PUBG?
Well, pretty much, it's your typical run-of-the-mill, great keyboard, that mechanical keyboard. That's where it's at. You want to have those different layers of, when you click a button, for example, F, it has different layers that it clicks on, and just for different macros, micros, whatever these guys call it.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we're
talking about keycap.
The macros are good, but what's better than that is what the teams competing today can win. And there you go. They're really flaunting you on the screen. They're
we're talking about the keycap. I thought you asked me about my keyboard back in 1998. Oh, the keycap.
64 keyboard.
Like that. All right, yeah, the keycap. Yeah, I actually wish I was in the tournament so I could, participate and get one of these, because these things are looking sick. They're looking phenomenal. They're handcrafted, hand painted. I mean, right now we got on the screen, it's just looking beautiful. Now there's only a limited amount of these, so only our top performers will get these. But Poro, what would you do? I mean, you're a professor. Would you rock one of these in your classroom?
Look at that thing. I mean, it's pure 24 karat plastic. I have a lot of issues where you get your keyboard, you're eating your Doritos, drinking your Mountain Dew, and the dust gets underneath the keyboard. Well, now you can lift the keys off and clean all that Dorito dust out of the keyboard. But when you put it back, it's going to look that much sexier with this handcrafted, beautiful PUBG level 3 helmet. I'll tell you what, that's
which key would you put that on? What key would you put that on, though? That's the tough one.
That is the tough one.
The escape key.
Honestly, it probably Z. Just so I can remind myself to go prone when I'm getting shot at in an open field, because clearly that's the
Because
best
your level
thing
3
to
helmet
do.
is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you see in every game you play. When you start shooting somebody in an open field and they lay prone, they never get killed.
Yeah, there you go.
It's impossible.
That's how
to
it
kill
works.
them.
I
That's
think
exactly
I'd
how
have
it
to go
works.
escape key because
Yeah.
I would just be scared that if it was on my Z, I would
Yeah.
misclick Control and Shift regularly. That said, though, I do want to talk about our other partner, the people who are helping us out with this and giving away a really great prize as well to the winning team, and that is ViewSonic with the XG monitor. Now, if you guys are unaware of this, I am insanely jealous because I wanted to buy this monitor myself. It's so hot. This thing has FreeSync, which means you never have to worry about making sure that your game's running at 60 or 144 or 75. It
On an AMD
automatically
card.
communicates with your video card, NVIDIA or AMD, and works out that sync rate. So that is super cool. It's 144 megahertz. Like, this is the way that you win games. I don't know. Do you guys use 144s yet?
Yep.
I do.
And I
Okay.
don't.
You have to, man.
I
Do
could
you
never go
remember?
back.
Do you remember the first day that you plugged that thing in versus the 60 or the 72 that you were working on beforehand? Like, it's so incredibly different, especially in a shooter. It blows my mind. So these guys, some of them, remember, not all these teams or players are getting free computers from sponsors and stuff. So like these kind of upgrades not only are cool, but they help their game improve. So this is kind of a big deal for some of these players.
Exactly. So
Like a massage for your eyes.
That's actually a good. That's actually a good way to put it. Like Boogie's voice, but for your eyes. There you go.
Boogie's voice is like a sexy massage. That said, though, we will. So let's go back talking a little bit about the teams and what we're looking at here. Obviously, you guys know the scoring: 1 point per kill, first place 32. So it's a pretty comfortable scoring system that you guys are very used to. It's going to be the same. We played 4 games yesterday. If you go over to Auzom.gg, you can see the standings as they are after the 4th game going into day 2. And it looks like we might be getting up and ready to roll.
Yeah, we will be going straight into the game quite soon enough. But until we do that one, I'd just like to point out that Auzom is kind of awesome for actually getting in touch with the orgs. With the professionals so far, and they've set up the tournament just so that they make sure that professionals are actually quite happy with that one indeed, because there's going to be a lot of feedback coming in from them. Of course, there's going to be a lot of information that the pros can actually relay back. So this is one of the coolest things about PUBG, because it's such a new and upcoming scene that everybody is connected to everybody. There's no separation. There's no segregation between orgs, between pros, between casters, for example. I have plenty of good friends in pro teams. So there you go. That's another beautiful thing that PUBG brings about, this kind of connection, and with fans as well. There's plenty of people in there that that I chat with, that I play games with too every day. That's one of the best things. But without further ado, we got 45 seconds left to go until the gong is about to beat down for the 5th match, 2nd day of this incredible Nations Cup. The first one was insane. The second one, what do you think, Toffees?
I'm super hyped about it. Obviously, I want to see a Team USA step up their game. I know these guys know how to play. I mean, we're talking Cornshuckers, FlyQuest, Ghost, Envious, and yet they're just not performing very well. So I want to see some of the bottom teams maybe get there together and move up a little bit. And I want to see teams like Austria, who have just been absolutely dominant. I mean, the guys won 2 out of 4. That's difficult to do. Continue that dominant streak or see if they can. I do think it's going to come down to communication, rotation, and because this game is a little different than your normal pro games, right? This is like the highest level of, if we had ranked matchmaking at the highest level, it would be sort of similar to the idea of like players who don't normally play on the same team getting paired together when they're just playing regular pub games, right? And this is sort of what we're seeing with a little more preparation. So there's not a lot of static drop points. They're kind of being creative as they fly and coming up with ideas as they go. So it's kind of a new way for us to sort of see the game played than we're used to seeing in traditional comp games. Like already, Stalber's got a 2-team push.
There you go. So some of them are actually going to be falling a bit far behind there. Moody seems to be setting his eyes south of Kameshki there. He's going to be holding on to that angle there. But yeah, as you said, it seems to be much rather a professional pug game of people coming in together. And they did have time, actually, Toffees, you didn't know this, but they actually did have some time in the previous weeks. They were announced quite a while ago. The IGLs had their time to actually set up their teams and play together, and they had scrims in this format, so they had some time to actually prep up and talk about their strats and work over their strats. And an interesting thing to point out, Toffees, is yesterday we actually had center strat not being heavily used in the first 2 games, but then it started popping out and being more of a normal happening there.
Right now?
We will be going to that one there. It is indeed. It is. There are two teams into that one. It does seem like Jesse in there from Team Canada is going to be facing someone. I think it was one of the Penta players, and that would tell us that would be Norway versus Canada. And this might be indeed the first fight that we're going to be watching here. Simsy already with an M4 is going to be approaching Interrogate there. Has an M16 to work with here, but has no idea that there is one enemy so close to him. Simsy spots him though. He's going to be taking those shots. Oh, no armor still. Interrogate does not fall, so Simsy's going to have to relocate.
Oh, absolutely. So he puts him in a lot of bind. Simsy going to do a nice rotation around the outside. This is a normal Penta player. We know Penta style is always aggressive, so he wants to take the fight forward, gets clipped from the outside, and now Simsy has to just pretty much go. He doesn't have meds. He's got to get to his team. He tried. He had found the hollow plus the M4, so he figured, I have optic advantage. It's worth going for a kill, and then you make the smart strategic play. When you don't get it, you ghost. And I think that that's a really good play here by Sims.
Yes, indeed. And, well, actually, they're actually quite spread out here, Team Norway. They're going to have to try and group up. But the good part about this whole situation is that they are indeed quite close to one another. In the meantime, though, we do see, was that Crimizord? That is from the Czech Republic team. So we'll be facing Team Sweden here, it looks like. And Fuzzface, you don't want to know how Ibiza calls him in-game. But yeah, Fuzzface is going to be quite close to Crimizord. Crimizord already holding on to his angle there. It looks like he has spotted his enemy. I think he's holding up a micro Uzi, which in close range is an absolutely devastating weapon here, but he cannot connect more than one shot there onto Fuzzface now, who's tagged down to about 80 HP, so it's not all bad, all things considered. Crimizord is going to have to group up with his teammates, but if you look at the minimap there, the concentration of enemies just around him is super, super high. So wherever he would go, unless Chronix makes it easier for him to make that cross, well, it looks like Fuzzface might get him. We'll have to find out.
Fuzzface locked in space. Interestingly enough, the rest of his team seems to be more focused on looting than sort of getting him out of this, which means Fuzz may not know just how surrounded he actually is just yet. He thinks, I'm in a AR versus Uzi throwdown. He doesn't realize Chronix is watching from the other side, and he's going to see the rest of the team pushing in relatively quickly now. Now Nicola is going to come in from behind, so we should hear him. They hear him outside the house. He's going to go ahead and peek and try to give some cover here as he pushes in, but that Uzi is not something you want to deal with pushing into a house. Its speed is insane, sub 75 meters. It's wicked accurate on the first 6 bullets.
Yes, indeed. Nicola subbing today for Hollywood, of course, and Nicola playing for Team Sweden as well. So you have to kind of know that one. Now, Sir Dre actually holding on to an angle there. He will be spotting enemies much, much easier than they would be spotting him. That's an interesting place to be in. But, oh, look at this one. Fuzzface actually gets the knockout against Chronix, and Nicola's going to be moving in against Crimzord as well. They know exactly where Crimzord is, so that's not an easy time for him to stick around too long. He doesn't choose to rotate, and that might actually end up damaging him. But now he's got an angle against Nicola. Puts in a few good shots there. Nicola attack down to half HP, but Crimzord is going to have to heal up as well. That micro Uzi mid-range fight, not going to be easy to do anything here, but he does it. He's going to knock out Nicola and now wait for the support of his teammates. But Fuzzface is moving on to him.
Absolutely. Under talked about thing about the Uzi. Oh, he's inside. There goes the spray down. He does get it. Fuzzface with a nice knock on Crimzord, who had just gotten too many people. So he finishes the job and says, that's what you get for your Uzi sniping. And a lot of people don't talk about the fact, Player Unknown specifically said early on, that Uzi in single tap is wicked accurate up to about 70 meters. Like, it can be used, and it's designed to be used that way. And that's exactly what we just got to see.
Yeah, that is a good point, I suppose. But the only downside to that is that you can actually not attach any optics. Now, Team Portugal, rather, will be moving in or into this kind of fight. I'm not too sure if this is the right way to do it. They're trying to save Chronix in there. Miguel is well stuck in the same compound there, but Haxetti's got an angle on them. He's going to be throwing out a nade. He knows exactly what house they're in. Surgery helping him out from the compound just south of him. So Chronix and Miguel are going to have to wait for the support of Caballero, who is now stepping up to the plate. Chronix has a decent spot to try and tag down the two players that come in here, but he fires off his shot prematurely, and in that one he actually gets a knockout, but he's getting knocked out himself. Oh, and look at this one. Haxetti survives with 1 HP. Is going to be killing Chronix. Now he's going to be having to heal. Miguel knows this, so he's going to be opening up that door. Haxetti tries to close it back in. He says, no, sir, this is a toilet. I shall not have you in. Film me. But he does. Miguel gets out from this battle, but it's not over yet. Team Sweden still have members on the map.
Looks like there's 3 dead. That may be the end.
They're running. That's it.
Okay. So he will extract himself. Caballeros comes out with the rest of his team. They did lose 1 man in the exchange, but at the end of the day, they'll be happy with that. They got a lot of good loot, and they now control the area as Fuzz is exiting as fast as he possibly can.
Yep, and Fuzzface was going to have to Sorry, go ahead.
I'll say you have to exit in that situation. Again, we're talking about Game 5, it's about managing your placement, and you want to make sure that you set your team up not to be in last place at this stage of the game. So Fuzzface should extract to a safe position and sort of wait it out for the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. So there's something to be learned from this one. If you can, if we will watch him later on, we will see his play style become super, super passive. When you're in a 2 against 4 situation, you're going to be playing it a bit less passively, but you have each other's back. You can watch out 360. When you're left alone, though, all you want to do is get center strat and sneak your way through the grass and hope that nobody actually sees you. So that's going to be the revert right now for Team Sweden. Moving in somewhere else on the map. It does look like Yuki might know of the position of Outsider here. Outsider, of course, playing for Team Germany. Let's see if Yuki can find something here from Team Switzerland, who haven't actually been doing that bad yesterday. They actually got a chicken dinner.
Absolutely, no, they're doing well. They're staying far away from their what do you call that? Their reputation of being completely neutral, as they have just been absolutely massacring other teams. They're ranked 3 right now with 4 kills per round, trying to get that first one, but the 125 on the motorcycle, once that thing gets going, very tough to get the spray off.
And 3T Butts actually connects beautifully against Yuki. He's going to have to be forced to go back into his puzzle block and heal up. There's no chance for him to actually engage back at 3T Butts, and that's going to be an easy exit for 3T Butts' teammate, whilst Yuki and Sesko are going to be busy getting back onto their feet. They know where their enemies are, and they actually have to make their way outside of the current place that they're in, because the circle does not consider them. But Musketeer, having some sort of a cheeky idea here, comes in from behind and grows that in hand. He could pull off a miracle here, but he doesn't choose to. Instead, leaving his teammates to try and get out from a different perspective. Musketeer might just watch that his teammates may have a safe cross towards his position. He's going to be going for that car first.
Well, and I think that he, my guess is he also knows that the only extraction option for YNCK and the guys is to go out through where he's going to be sitting in these houses. So potentially with the Groza, if they get in a car and try to drive out, he takes them out. But now they know where he is. So that's going to change the game a little bit for Musketeer here. Though now 3T Butts knows, hey, we're covered on 2 sides. Do we just try to exit with the car as fast as possible? Wow, nice shot.
Let's see if Musketeer actually will get his hands on any kind of vehicle, because that's exactly why he went to that compound. There's a hard spawn in there, not 100% of the time, but sometimes it does occur that a vehicle is spawned in. Musketeer doesn't spot anybody there, spots an enemy rather coming in, and let's see, he doesn't seem to be looking inside of that gray garage. I'm not too sure whether or not there's Garner there, but we do see a UAZ further down the road, though Musketeer won't have an easy time getting there without his teammates at least getting dinged down by the blue, because it is approaching fast and it will encapsulate them soon enough. As you saw on the minimap, the circle is going to be on the eastern side. And actually, no, it does.
It's right there. It's right on top of them. I just think that they were going to try to get out because you don't want to get stuck in that Georgia Pole area for the next circle. So we'll see. Profi coming in right behind Musketeer. We got cars set up for YNCK and the crew. Outsider projected to the north side of the map. Should be interesting as Profi's going to come right through. And he wanted to check the box.
Yeah, and it's a box that's been looted a long time ago. Seems like US cannot win at the loot game either.
No.
That's one of the reasons why we had this separation.
Oh no.
So one of the reasons why we had this separation is, listen, Toffees, we kind of have to let any win something, right? So we had to give you guys your own lobbies.
Ouch. Come on, guys. You got to step up and represent us, because, yes, it's true, though. The NA or some of these teams just aren't showing as well as we've seen out of the EU grouping here. That said,
talking about
North
other
America,
games.
trying to find a safe spot here. Aradox, very low, already taking a ton of blows on that rotation. Going to jump off and get himself healed up. I like this position for them. It's not terrible. It gives them a good overview of pretty much everything going on around them. But again, they're just not able to take the houses or the complexes they continuously want to. They wanted those red houses, and they were already occupied.
Yeah, and here's another bad thing about that spot is Team Lithuania is on the very other side of that hill. So that's not going to be an easy task. Phaser now beacon in against Team Denmark, so it seems. It looks like he's not going to have an easy time spotting him, but he's actually in the open. Yes, of course. He does have an ADX to work with here. He does have an ADX to work with here. He does have good weaponry, I suppose. Sorry, he is from Team Denmark, spotting in against Winghaven and Choi. Of course, Winghaven and Choi making part of Team Spain. So let's see how they're going to be faring this one out, or if they're going to be seeing Caca de Vaca, man, or Oye Cabron. It looks like they will be breached in. Simsy and James seem to be set on going in. And one thing that we know about Benta is that they're very good at breaching compounds.
Yeah, and the fact that they've got two members of the same team definitely helps them as well. A nice shot. You can see James and Simsy both very good breachers for Penta. So having both of those players with really good AR skills, great mechanics on quick trigger pulls are going to be moving in here. So it's got to be scary for Spain as you see the breach coming up. Norway pressing the stairs, looking around. Simsy with the shotgun out, rocking the double barrel for the blowdown. He's going to take the first peek, knows that they're in there somewhere. Smoke working in his favor as he now can breach the room.
Yeah,
Out the back, Winghaven doesn't know. He finally hears the grenade, so he assumes something is up. Here comes the breach by Simsy. He's going to lead out with the double barrel. Hits the room. Misses the shot, though. He goes down to the scar. James already at a quarter health. Has to walk out the back to try and heal himself up. Choi did go down on the stairwell, so James won the one shootout. Simsy missed the double barrel and goes down. Now we see Fraser trying to get in here to help out. Wants to get up the stairs. They're trying to keep Simsy alive if at all possible. James, no time to heal. Here comes the breach with the full health. Comes in, gets knocked immediately. What a play by Spain as he is still Wing at full health has knocked two as they just crawl around like a nursery in the middle of a firefight.
When Jeeves made his life just that much harder because he had to open the door from the inside, which means that he can peek even less. Winghaven now has the chance to potentially close this 1v3 situation beautifully. So he's going to be actually finding the 2 kills in there. Those 2 knockouts turn into kills on James. Well, he's not going to be left with much than to get the crap out of there. Winghaven is actually going to be busy resing his own teammates. So James might just have some time to try and get out. But it doesn't look like that's what's on his plan. He's going to be slowly creeping back to the position of where his teammates died. He's slowly going to be going back upstairs. And as he does, he's going to be finding now 2 members from Team Spain. So life became that much harder for him. But with this prone and slow walking downstairs, he's not going to be heard soon by Winghaven, who's currently on the very top floor. That's actually a very smart strat by James. He seemed to run away outside. He made a lot of noise, but as he approached, he stopped making noise altogether. So he might actually find the clutch behind the revenge kill against Team Spain.
Well, it'll work. All he has is bandages, so he can slow heal himself down here. He locks up a position, so if one of these players accidentally jumps down or not, accidentally goes scouting and gets out of position, then he makes it a 1v1. Otherwise, he just Trojan horses and lets them defend him into the next circle. So it's not a bad idea to do sort of the reverse ghost, if that makes sense. Now let's jump over to where Erky has got some fire down here on the Cornshuckers' favorite place to hide in their tournament. Right now we see Enzo Alonso and his crew hanging out there. Samty, Low, and the rest of his team already knocked out, so taking fire from 2 sides right now.
And Arky is actually going to be holding on to the compounds there where Enzo Lenzo would have a clean shot, but misses that one in. Team Belgium made a big fat mistake going up against Team Finland. They are known to be utter and complete dominators when it comes to rifle power. So this time around, it's going to be Team Belgium that tries to get some sort of a space in between themselves, as they did have their teammate THC get knocked out, taken out of the server there. Mixie in the open. He might get the wrap around, the flank around Team Belgium, but it does look like Enzo Lenzo still going to be holding on to that spot there. Jempty and Samty are nearby as well. Oh, and
so
this
Finland is locked in.
Lenzo.
I like the Mixie play to try and make the rotation. It's going to take time to accomplish. Meanwhile, we'll jump over to another fight going on right now. You see Gaxi knocked out, Enzis on the ground. Italiano with a nice little car fort all built up as they try to fight off Mista and Robs.
Yep, it's going to be Team Netherlands versus Lithuania. It does look like Netherlands are pushing in here. Mista is going to be the top of the spear here, making his way fast uphill. He spots one of his enemies there, but it goes around the character to just get that frag, and that he does indeed. One of them down, the rest of them killed as well. That's going to be the end of Team Lithuania. Here, Team Netherlands performing beautifully. So Ibiza is going to be coming in from behind there. The IGL for Netherlands right now. And look at their standings. Currently on team place 14. They need every frag they can get, and that they do indeed. A beautiful elimination up against real good pros in Team Lithuania. Oh, Spike from Czech Republic. That's an
Iceland. It's Richard Bale from Iceland taking some good shots. We saw a nice knockout there as the fights go on. Maz trying to get to use this car fort for himself, and they really need to get Spike up. Spike was a player who was on fire yesterday, really working hard for his team. So this is one of those things where sometimes you see a player go down and you realize the team doesn't just keep fighting like you'll see sometimes. They sort of reallocate their resources to a pickup, and a lot of that revolves around a player who's been doing very well in the tournament, as we saw here. They actually risked and gave a life to try to get Spike back up.
Yes, and you can perfectly understand why they do that. Spike, as you said, it has been doing really good, but clean shots coming in from VZ. And that's going to be the end of Team Czech Republic. Not to worry, though. They've got 3 more matches left after this one here, and so do you at home watching. We've got plenty of PUBG action, man. It's a really good day for PUBG. I'm super excited that's going to be happening.
I get the strategy of the pickup. You just can't run out into the open. It makes it way too easy for a player like VZ to get that kill and move themselves up in the ranks. You don't want to give free points like that to a team like Iceland. All right, let's see what else we got going on the map here. We'll jump back to Winghaven and Choi and Jeems all sort of having their little standoff. Jeems still playing the Trojan horse in the belly of the beast, just aiming at the door and watching. Now, remember, that door was opened last time we were here. He has not closed it, I don't believe, so they still have no idea, but they must have heard something because Winghaven and Choi are convinced that he is around, and they are not peeking. They are not looking for kills or passing by cars. They are literally just holding the door.
All that they can do at this point in time is hope that the one nuisance that seemed to be downstairs would leave, but that does not happen. James holding on to the same spot there. Once those revenge kills, and they'd be doing really, really good. Those extra 2 points that would be put in for his team would come up huge. Norway would really benefit from that situation there. Let's see if they're going to be occurring later on. In the meantime, though, we do see the circle strangling in. We'll have a new circle coming up soon. And we already see Team Italy on the far, far east side of the current one here. But as we draw our attention here to VZ and his own team, we do see Iceland finding a very solid compound to defend from.
This is where they were. They got the good fight off of here earlier. They got those 3 kills in the field, and they did a smart thing. They sent out 3 looters. Each person hit one of the kills, and they left 1 man back to defend this compound. Super popular compound. People love driving in here and parking in the garage, and there's only one safe approach vector. If anybody comes from any of the 3 sides that doesn't have the hill, it's an easy burn down with any of your ARs. So this is a really great shot. If Iceland gets this circle in the next 10 seconds, they're going to be in a really great position to not only be top 10, but potentially come out top 3. So we'll see what that circle dictates. You see everybody else kind of caught in weird spots. They're very happy with where they are.
Yeah, and the circle doesn't reveal itself. And the circle doesn't reveal itself. And you see Team Canada and Team Netherlands, and they will be happy indeed from the previous game that we were watching. Instead, it's going to be actually Team Belgium that'll have to make a move out of it. And they decide to make their move right now. And that's a smart choice. But, oof, bit of a dangerous drive. They're close to the edge. They're going to be playing... They're going to be playing bumper cars a tiny bit. Sure, why not? Wouldn't you do that? It's not like Team Finland was dinking down. You got to dink yourself down and play it on extra hard mode. And this is a smart choice to leave this early, because this will allow them to actually get good positioning in the next circle. You can already see most of the teams that were on the outside are now trying to make their way into the center of the compound here, getting shots from the players who are already in situations where they can defend themselves for the next fight as well. Samty, going to be driving in there. Oh, but... what a side flip that was. Just caught half of it, of course. He will get shot, but that's only 1 shot onto him. He's going to be trying to juke and going left and right, center and backwards, trying his best to stay alive, and stay alive he does. But just for now, he's getting super, super dangerously close to one of his enemy teams. And looks like they can't find the frag just yet on them. And right now, they're going to be safe.
They'll finally find a compound. That's the beauty of the motorcycle. It's just fast enough that sometimes it works. Pro Loco is crazy as he goes through with 0 health, but somehow survives the zip, and will find a place to call home. Meanwhile, Kingway and Larson and the group going up head-to-head here. Fosu goes down. Winghaven trying to make his push. Larson flanking around the outside. Raptors in the carport, but he is very, very low. They throw a nade into the carport. That could be it if it's cooked correctly. Raptor is down. Texas, there's the nade. It's got the 2. They're both wicked low. It's going to be air in the side. He's got the rock. He's trying to hold position. Another nade has come out to try and scare him up a little bit. They finished both guys there at the car. Air has to figure out what to do. He's going to try to move around to the car fort. There's the first. So Texas now drops down. Raptor's is resable. Air goes for it.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Look at Meter. Look at how far he's shooting in from.
God.
And Arky doesn't have an easy time here. Team Belgium caught between the rock and hard place there, with Denmark pushing them earlier on, and now they're having such an easy time as Meter dares to fire off at them as well. Definitely not a good time to be for Team Belgium. Austria already lining up with Denmark to dink down Belgium, and that they do indeed. Over on the western side, though, we see a lot of knockouts. We'll have a look at the fights here as they do occur.
Iceland doing a great job. They had that compound. They had a team that was pushing past them. They're rolling out to try and finish off the job. Demon kills the monkey at the same time, so they're removing a threat from yesterday's games. Now we see Damon hiding behind the tree. Hollow out in the open. Richard Bale's got the 8x and can take either one out. Damien already very low here as he tried. Here we go. So we'll jump to Hollow, hiding behind the rock, really not sure how do we fight against Iceland right now. And I guess the answer is get help from someone else.
Yeah, the only thing that's going through his mind is, oh, putain. Team France not having an easy time here, of course, as they get pushed in. And we also see shots being taken against Team Netherlands from the guys that were earlier fighting on with them, from the squad that was currently in the... from Netherlands that were Netherlands are taking fire from Estonia, the team that was in the shooting range. So Netherlands have an easy time to move out, because right now there's another squad actually pushing into Estonia, and that is, of course, the boys from the US. What do you think is going to happen here?
They'll probably die. All right, so the guys from the U.S. are going to try to push into a compound that is hard to defend. They've got the walls. Man. They've got guys uphill. They've got shooters everywhere. So their best play right here, leave one peek and lock into inside the bunker at maximum. They've got Fly Q Heterar. He's a great player. He's got a good peeker with the Groza. So he'll play that defensive role as he tries to get some snipes uphill. But there's the nade, awful close. They got to be very careful. There's the push to his left side.
Oh, and Heterar, an absolute animal when it comes to rifle, has been defeated. It's fantastic. Steps in. 2 great frags for him, and Caden is going to be falling down as well. No chance for these boys as they get absolutely dominated by Katasik. They're a beautiful 1v2, and his teammates follow suit with the Caden frag as well. Beautiful, beautiful effort. And wow. What a hard time if you're from the US. The US
didn't expect the aggression to come out of that team. They're used to being left alone. They were like, why would Estonia ever try to fight the US? But Cudtastic said hells to the no and brought his crew. And man, they took them apart. They disassembled the US, unfortunately, and now they get to move uphill into a lot of held areas. Already we see Iceland with a big transition here. Richard Dale shot out of his car by Reels on his way. They're going to have to just leave him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's in a safe position to be rezzed, so there's no chance for him to be brought back to life. That's going to be an unfortunate moment for Iceland as they try to make their way in the safety of the compound. But look at this one. It's going to be Netherlands that actually going to be challenging that compound. Somewhere else on the map, though, we do see Insolencer from Team Finland trying to make his way inside that UAZ, who is also on fire. He's going to be exploded out of the hands of Wookie Bookie. Another fantastic frag brought to you live by the chopper in the sky. And that goes by the name of Skyline. There you go. Skyline, thank you very much once again. I know we don't get to shout him as often. Thank you so much, Skyline, for specking this game. Guys, show him some love in the chat. Best freaking observer the US has ever produced.
Also, Skyline noticing that Richard Bale is getting rescued. His team rolled a car in there and are covering him. So Iceland playing the no player left behind sort of policy. And they're going to get Bale up and then try to make a run for it. The problem is Netherlands are going to be staring down at them. No, it's not. Who?
It is.
Screw it is. Okay, so Netherlands, they were the spoilers in the last fight. They sort of caused some trouble for Iceland from the outside, so they're still going to be up on this hill, but they have to watch their backs because neither of these teams is in a particularly safe spot.
We'll go back into the match in just a few seconds here. As you can see on the screens, we had a bit of an issue. Don't you worry, guys. Spam that esports ready in the chat, and we'll come back to you live in hopefully less than a minute. We'll see how that one goes.
The things that I've seen so far is we didn't get to watch it play a lot out in terms of his viewpoint, but I think it was Wookie, was getting a ton of kills throughout that match. He finished off Raptors' team. He got that pick off on Ensolanzo as he was driving. So that's a player who has been really impactful so far in this game that we haven't had a chance to sort of keep an eye on. So I didn't want to give a shout out to him because he has been sort of mopping up a lot of these stragglers and drivers, people, and getting people knocked out of these fights.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I'm actually hyped is what our analysts are going to have to say about this matchup here, because it's been an absolute and utter beautiful, beautiful show so far. One of the things that we have changed for today, guys, watching at home right now, as a difference from yesterday's matches, is that today we have an analyst panel that will dissect the game, will slash and dice the game right after it happens. But let's get back into the match here. We didn't actually lose that much time, but we didn't actually get to see one of the members from Team Netherlands actually get knocked out. It looks like they're getting pushed in by some very, very committed enemies.
Absolutely. So they're going to be pushing up here. It looks like Cloud, Tail, this is Cudtastic and his crew from Estonia pushing up the hill. They're trying their best to sort of run that line. Ibiza, is he out? So he's just inside the blue. So he's playing a little bit of a gatekeeper role here as Cut and everybody else comes in very, very low. They're going to try to heal and then make the breach. But Ibiza is looking, he's looking right at him. So he knows they're there. Broder and Mista backing him up. Iceland able to just hide out and allow this to happen. Ibiza gets torn apart.
Absolutely, but Broder's in the fight, and he's going to be trying his best. That it doesn't really work out. It's going to be Mista that has to clutch this one for his team. 1v4 situation, and Mista's already on the back foot, trying to leave, trying to escape this insane battle that saw his entire team get knocked out and wiped. Let's see if he's going to be able to put too much into this one. Nope. It's going to be the end of him as, well, Cloudtail and his own crew from Estonia will bring him to absolute nothing. What a beautiful effort coming in here from Estonia there to try and go off such a powerful team, but they're not over the hill yet. It looks like they're going to have just another squad just on the other side, and that is, of course, that was that Sigzy and Fake. That should be a Team UK, actually.
Yeah, I believe so. So no rest for the Wicked. One goes down, the next moves up. Immediately, they took some shots. They heard the Groza. They decided not to get involved. So you'll see T-Bone and his crew walking off. They decide, let's find a better position. No need to force the fight just yet. Also worth noting, the last kill there was achieved by the zone. So he knew he was going to go down. He denied the kill to the players here, Cloudtail and his team. Iceland happily sitting inside of their base, not too far to go. Towards the white, jumping over to Sir Survivor, who's got the motorcycle and the silent scar. And trying to sort of make something happen for his team. We'll play that scout role as he heads out on the bike.
Yeah, there we go. And he does seem to have level 2 utility on him, level 2 armor on him. Let's see if he's going to be able to actually find a good spot, because he's right now heading straight into where Team Canada actually set themselves. And this circle won't see that many teams get into, because as you can see, a lot of them are on the outside with the circle already strangling in. It's not going to be an easy time entering, but Moody, look at this, very smartly stops behind that ridge, and just on the other side there's a full squad waiting for him there. Of course, it's going to be a Team Jempty, sorry, not Team Jempty, but Jempty from Finland with a full squad, and they're just ready to dink them down.
We got
And
four
actually,
squads
there's
right on top of each
four
other.
squads right now.
Yep. So we got the two in the houses are pretty happy. A nice little fort getting set up by the guys here. T-Bone and the rest of his crew have parked it out, waiting for the chance to go. But Mixie's got the high ground. He's a great sniper, so be up there looking to get some picks off. Samty, Jempty, that's a great team locked into that base. Interrogate's still down. Iceland leaving the blue now, a little bit late to the party because they're stuck in a fight with Cudtastic and Swiss.
Cudtastic coming in from Estonia with the help of his teammate X-Chris. Rip Theater of Mayhem, but these guys are still going. Never mind, they're not going strong. They've been knocked out and killed by the Blue Zone there. An unfortunate timing, of course, but still, there's plenty of teams left alive. 25 people left into this one, and ooh, look at this one, Winghaven and Bo taking heavy damages. Washout is going to be knocking them out, and T-Bone TV from Team UK coming in with a good frag as well. As whenever you see team, I just want to point this one out, Toffees. Whenever you see T in the player's name, you can assume it's Team UK.
Oh, fair enough. All right, this is Italy with Edu taking some good shots here, trying to knock him out. And he's almost able to finish off their opponents. So they push around the outside of this hill. And remember, those guys, they were distracted. They had another group shooting him from the backside. Nice headshot on Colda the second that he peeks, using that Mini 14 triple shot very aggressively. Colda Mente, the last man standing, I believe, for his team here in Spain.
Yeah.
Italy versus Spain, fighting for control of the boot.
No se puede is what Goldman is saying right now. He didn't really have a chance to stick a line in the game. And look at this one. Troy is actually going to be right behind him as well. So I suppose that's a bit of a silver lining on this cloud. But still, Troy is not in an unfortunate place. He cannot really help his teammate Goldman to come in. And as soon as they try to come in, they're going to be coming straight into the crosshairs of Team Finland, who now have the God House, who now have that triple story. And they can really do some bad work. But until they get there, it's going to be Team UK that actually dares to push in. And it looks like T-Bone TV might have just found himself a good spot to actually make his way inside. His teammates coming in as well, but they've got no idea that there's so many players just on the other side of the ledge.
Wow. Oh my god. So UK makes it in somehow, but Jempty hiding behind the door. Boom, baby! Gets the knock and the kill as he locks up the lower floor. That's going to be the end of him. What can you do? Samty getting rezzed up on the high ground. Triple house, all kinds of a cluster. We got Moody down the back. Felix trying to crawl himself to safety, racing the blue to get into the house. Down he goes. Mixie still controlling the triple stack. Meanwhile, down below, it's VZ from Iceland trying to get inside. Maluke down on the ground. Hugo Star goes down. Richard Bale is knocked out. VZ, the last hope, takes a shot in the face. Drops into prone as you learn to do in first person. That's your ultimate. I don't know where they are. Hit prone, try to heal, push uphill, but that is a tough terrace to take when you've got Maluke on his belly and the rest of you got Jempty and Samty sitting up on top of the triple stack, also staring down on you.
Yes, indeed. It's not going to be an easy task for him whatsoever. Now, Maluke, of course, with Team Canada, the last member staying alive there. We're going to be watching him in a second, but in the meantime, though, it's going to be UK that actually takes down Sir Survivor. Circle is going to be strangling outside of this compound, so whoever is in right now is going to have to make a move, and it's all about making that last move. The players with most of boosters are going to be using them at max now, as the circle will draw in closer 40 seconds from this point out. And finally, a bit of a relief for Team Italy. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, look at this spot, though. They know that they have cover. They know there's no one coming up from the river. They're in full defilade, so they can just wait it out and get some peaks and hold the circle. So that should be great for them because this triple house is going to be a massacre before anybody moves out of it. So they can just sort of wait for that to see itself ended. And I don't know how any of these teams who are sort of locked in at triple can safely move. Whoever moves first will be the one to die. Whoever moves last will get stuck in the blue.
And here's Washout fulfilling an important role of trying to gatekeep everybody from actually coming into the next circle there. And it's a double kill for him. Actually, well, it's a double knockout there, but a beautiful, beautiful effort indeed. One last member stayed alive there. He's not going to be alive for too long there. Washout doing perfectly for his team here, setting him up for the victory here as his other two teammates are going to be busy actually taking down the other member that's on their left. As you can see there, it's going to be Maluk still staying alive for Team Canada here, and it's going to be Maluk up against Team Italy in this situation here. I don't think that neither of Gemty or T-Bone TV from Team UK and Finland respectively can come out of this one. No, they can't. Maluk on the outside is going to have to heal this one through, but he does not know that he has to face so many adversaries right now. It's a 4 version. There he goes. He's going to be going down, and that will be the GG for Team Italy and the chicken dinner for themselves at that. A beautiful, beautiful first game, Toffees, and it's one that, well, it might just reproduce for the next ones as well, because we got 3 more to go. Nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Washout putting his team in a good spot. These guys were 11th, and we'll throw it over to the desk in a second. They can tell you all about the value of kills because Italy, who had to find a way out of the bottom of this bracket, got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kills plus the win. So that is absolutely huge. I've loved casting the game. Big shout out to Boogie. Bigger shout out to Skyline for running the camera in this bad boy, as well as Keycaps and Busonic for giving us the prizes for this tournament. Let's kick it over to our guys on the desk, Porosaurus and Mustache Dave, to break down exactly what happened in this match.
All right, Mustache Dave, are you with me, sir?
I'm here. What a great game to start off this day, the final day of the Nations Cup. What a great game. So much action. Poro, what stuck out to you the most?
Look, there's about 20 different individual fights that we could look at throughout that game, but to me, the thing that stuck out the most for me personally was the performance of Estonia. They let me make sure I'm getting the right team names here. So Cuttastic, X-Chris, Cloudtail, Razy, they had the super aggressive push to wipe the US at the shooting range, which of course that stings a little. It stings a little, but it was. But when you look at the way they did it, it was very, very aggressive. And I think Toffee's really hit the nail on the head when he said that the US just was not expecting that type of aggression to come out. And I don't know, there was 3 of them there, and it seems that they still managed to somehow get flanked from both sides. I'm not sure how that happened. But then, immediately following, Estonia followed that up with another great fight to wipe the Netherlands as they were pushing out of the blue. So Ibiza kind of had vision of them. They knew that they were coming, but they had that they played it very slowly, very carefully, very calmly, stopped before they entered in, healed up, then came out of the blue with guns blazing all at the same time, all 3 players. They just, the teamwork displayed there was just unbelievable. So great performance by Estonia, but there's definitely a lot of other teams to talk about. What really stuck out to you?
And then, of course, just to tack onto that, Estonia being taken out by the blue because they had to engage in that last fight all the way out there. But I definitely want to contribute, their placements, their kills to Cloudtail that game. He had the Groza, he had the red dot on it. He was just getting frag after frag and just making those great plays. But so our top 3, we had Italy, right? We had Canada, number 2, and then the UK, number 3. Now, let's talk a little bit about this last kind of push that we saw on that 3 story. We saw UK. They had their vehicles. They had the US. They made that push on that 3 story. I don't think they knew that they were up there. Finland was at the top, pretty much playing gatekeeper, looking over everybody, and unfortunately wiping them out. We saw T-Bone, I believe, the last remaining member of the UK, being able to secure that 3rd place spot. But in the end, Team Italy, Washout, he just had the best positioning ever. He must have prayed to Papa Bless before this game because he was just able to clean up everybody that went into that compound. Now, I know we can see from the sky. We got the eyes in the sky. We got the skyline chopper. But talking about that push into that compound, is that something that, as an analyst, you would have made a call out to do, or would you have stayed out in the open in the fields and used those defilades to your advantage, such as Team Italy did there?
Well, when you look at it, you had all these teams that were coming in from the north. The first circles prior to that, I mean, it seemed like every new circle will just kept pushing south and kept pushing south. And Italy was kind of in a fortunate place where they never really tried to center, right? They never tried to center early. And when they decided to take their position in the early circles, they decided to keep more towards the southern edge. And, we always talk about it as like, yeah, there is an element of RNG in this game, but most of the time you can counteract that RNG elements with, smart play, good positioning and stuff like that. Well, when you get down to that final circle and you have 4 teams all stacked on top of each other in that one little 3-story building, and then you have Italy all by themselves to the south with giant hills to hide behind and work with, and they can just kind of oversee the whole operation and just lay down fire. I mean, that's I hate to see it's an RNG circle win, but it kind of is an RNG circle win at that point. But there wasn't really much that these teams could do that were pushing from the north. I mean, the only compound that they had was the 3-story where everybody kind of fell onto. And Italy did do a really good job of playing gatekeeper towards that eastern edge of that circle, to making sure that nobody tried to come up and around those hills to get them from the northern side. So they did do a really good job at kind of preventing that and forcing everybody to land right on top of each other inside that one compound. But once you saw where that final circle landed right on Italy on those hills, there wasn't really a whole lot anybody else was going to be able to do at that point.
No. But I definitely agree with you. Estonia, definitely, they're sticking out to me game one, just making those plays, looking so good. Besides them, I want to give a shout out to Samty making that sick bike play. We don't reward bike flips or whatnot, but I believe he did. He jumped over this little tiny ridge over a squad that was actually in a vehicle going right underneath them. So that was some next level BMX stuff going on. But moving into our next game, I mean, I know it's the circle. We don't necessarily always know where it's at, but what type of circle would you like to see? What type of circle? What type of zone would be entertaining for us, the viewers, and just challenge our squads?
I kind of have a thing. I like open field circles, right? Because there's something about using the terrain for your cover, and knowing what we know about this game at the competitive level. Having battles take place in the city, while it would be cool, at the same time it's just awful for the players, because you get the FPS drops are pretty rough, and it's just makes for a really difficult time trying to fight. So any of these open field circles or on hills or mountains or anything, those are usually where you start seeing the real best play come out. And that's when the positioning and fighting for terrain and fighting for the high ground really kind of, I don't know, it becomes a lot more obvious which teams are putting thought into the next 3 steps ahead rather than playing what's right in front of them right then. But I mean, there's a lot of teams that actually performed really, really well in this first game that were kind of sitting a little bit lower in the scoreboard. So, for example, you already mentioned the UK coming in at third, and then we had Canada coming in with the hot second place finish with Maluk managing to live for as long as he did.
I'm telling you, Interrogate drinking that half a tub of G Fuel, getting 3 frags that game, definitely going to pay off, as each kill is worth 1 point. So every kill counts. All the points count at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, we do just kind of a quick recap on the scoring. So 1 point per kill, 32 points for first place, 25 for second, 20 for third, 15th for fourth, and 13th for fifth. And then it just kind of goes down progressively from there. But that third place finish for Canada is going to do them a lot of goods, considering they started the day a little bit on the low slide.
Yeah, before this game, number 13 for
number
Canada.
13, right? So had 34 total points before this game. So now they picked up 3 kills and a third place. So that's going to be another 23. So that's going to put them right up there. So I am, again, of course, I know you're here with me, Dave.
I already know where you're going. I already know where you're
We
going.
want to see the U.S. do better, but let's look at the score. Okay, so we do have updated scoreboards now. So Austria, obviously, still in the lead. They had about a 50-point lead going into today, so they're just kind of like slow playing it, milking that for as long as they can. But
Still sitting
playing
at
pretty
a 43-point lead compared to their second place counterpart. So they're still looking pretty good. Or they're looking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you see Italy now jumping up to 4th place after that win. Let's see, where did they start the day?
I believe they started around
11th.
Yeah,
so that's
11th.
a really big jump for them. So you can see the difference that one win makes, jumping from 11th to 4th place off of one win. So this is all these teams that are kind of sitting a little bit lower, have faith, hold out hope. You can jump. You get that one big win, and that can just bump you right back into contention. You can see Canada 6th place now after that one 3rd place finish. Belgium in 7th, Finland in 8th, France in 5th, UK in 9th, Germany in 10th, Czech Republic in 11th, Denmark in 12th. So you can see the once we start getting to these lower parts of the leaderboard, and you look across the games that have been played, you can see that there've been kind of some rough patches. Denmark had one really, really good game in the second game of yesterday, but kind of been underperforming a little bit in the last recent game. So
yeah, let me talk about Denmark for just a second. Something interesting. Definitely if you're out there, you're wondering, check out Auzom.gg, click the Nations Cup tab. All this information is there. But for team kill count, Denmark currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard at 30 kills, and Italy with 28 underneath that. All right. And Denmark, like we see right here, sitting at number 12 on the leaderboards. That just goes to show how important placements are. I mean, kills definitely matter, but I believe if Denmark can get a good placement coming in this next 3 games, they could take it. They could take the first place. They're looking real good.
No, absolutely. And you look at teams like Denmark in 12th, like you said, 30 total kills, Netherlands, 25 total kills sitting in 15th. I mean, these are teams that are playing really, really well. They're getting the frags. They're just not getting the results at the end of the day. So one big game will push these teams into contention for the top slot. And meanwhile, at the same time, Czech Republic, very, very low kills, only 8 kills so far the entire tournament, yet they're sitting in 11th place with 49 total points. So they are able to find these top 10 finishes. They are able to make their way into late game. Now they just have to finish out. You just have to get a little bit more engage in a little bit more fights, maybe pick a few points that way, try to get to this top 10, and then try to get to the top 5, and then see how many members you can get to that late game scenario. If you can enter that late game with 4 players, you're looking really, really good. So it's just all these early fights. I mean, Pachinki, God, can we just talk about Pachinki for a second? The beginning of the game, Portugal versus Sweden, Pachinki hot drop.
Yeah. I mean, the Pachinki, the wipe over there, Buzzface kind of running away, trying to be that insurance policy. But we are loading into our second game of the day. The leaderboards are wide open. It only comes down to those final last circles and how many members you have up. So we're going to jump right back into the game. And good luck to all of our teams. We'll be right back with the analyst desk after game 2.
Let's get it.
I know. You guys